America has long been a dominant force in global politics, but not every country sees the United States in a positive light. In recent years, tensions have escalated between the U.S. and several nations for various reasons, including political disputes, economic sanctions, military interventions, and ideological differences. Let's take a look at some of the countries that dislike America right now and why. 10. South Africa. South Africa has recently expressed frustration with American foreign policy, particularly regarding trade, economic pressure, and global alignments. The U.S. has criticized South Africa's stance on Russia and China, as well as its internal policies. South African leaders have pushed back against what they see as Western interference, aligning themselves more with BRICS nations in an effort to reduce dependence on American influence. 9. Saudi Arabia. While historically an ally, Saudi Arabia's relationship with the U.S. has cooled in recent years. The murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi and the U.S. response to it created tensions, as did Washington's criticisms of Saudi Arabia's role in the Yemen war. Furthermore, Saudi Arabia's growing economic and diplomatic ties with China and Russia suggest a shift away from traditional American influence in the region. 8. Turkey. Although a NATO ally, Turkey has had increasing disagreements with the U.S. over issues like American support for Kurdish groups in Syria, which Turkey considers terrorists. Additionally, U.S. sanctions and the refusal to extradite cleric Fethullah Gulen, whom Turkey blames for a failed coup attempt in 2016, have worsened relations. Turkey has since moved closer to Russia and other non-Western powers, expressing frustration with American policies. 7. Pakistan. Once a close ally of the United States, Pakistan's relationship with America has become increasingly strained. Many in Pakistan believe that the U.S. has used their country for strategic purposes, particularly during the War on Terror, without offering substantial long-term benefits. The U.S. drone strikes in Pakistan, which have caused civilian casualties, and Washington's growing ties with India have fueled anti-American sentiment. Some political leaders in Pakistan accuse the U.S. of interfering in their internal affairs. 6. Cuba. Despite brief efforts to normalize relations under the Obama administration, U.S.-Cuba relations remain strained. The American embargo on Cuba, which has lasted for decades, continues to impact the island nation's economy. Cuba views America as a hostile force, frequently condemning its policies at the United Nations and accusing it of attempting to undermine its socialist government. 5. Venezuela. U.S. sanctions against Venezuela, aimed at pressuring President Nicolas Maduro to step down, have fueled anti-American sentiment. The U.S. has supported opposition leaders and accused the Venezuelan government of human rights abuses and corruption. In response, Venezuela has strengthened ties with countries like Russia, China, and Iran, often blaming America for its economic troubles and labeling it as an aggressor trying to orchestrate regime change. 4. North Korea. The relationship between the U.S. and North Korea has been turbulent for decades. Although there have been diplomatic efforts, including historic meetings between former President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, tensions remain high. North Korea views the U.S. as its greatest enemy, citing American military presence in South Korea and ongoing sanctions that have crippled its economy. State propaganda continues to paint the U.S. as an imperialist force seeking to overthrow its government. 3. Iran. Since the U.S. withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal in 2018 and reimposed sanctions, relations between the two nations have been tense. Iran blames America for its economic struggles and accuses it of meddling in Middle Eastern affairs. The assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani by a U.S. drone strike in 2020 deepened hostility, with Iranian leaders frequently calling America the Great Satan and blaming it for destabilizing the region. 2. China. The U.S.-China rivalry has been growing, particularly in the areas of trade, technology, and military influence. The trade war initiated during the Trump administration, combined with sanctions on Chinese tech giants like Huawei and TikTok restrictions, has fueled resentment. Additionally, the U.S. supports Taiwan, which China sees as a breakaway province, further straining relations. China's state-controlled media often depicts America as an imperialist power trying to suppress China's rise on the global stage. 1. Russia. Tensions between the U.S. and Russia have been at an all-time high since the conflict in Ukraine. The United States has imposed heavy sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy, key industries, and influential figures. Russia, in turn, views America as a threat to its sovereignty and interests, accusing it of interfering in regional affairs and expanding NATO influence near its borders. The war in Ukraine has only intensified anti-American sentiment in Russia, with state media frequently portraying the U.S. as an aggressor. Many of these nations have different reasons for disliking America, ranging from economic sanctions to military interventions and ideological differences. While some tensions may ease over time through diplomacy and shifting global alliances, others appear to be long-term grievances deeply rooted in history and political strategy. As the world continues to evolve, America's relationships with these countries will be key in shaping international affairs in the years to come.